Did you know a treasure hunter stole $50 million in Civil War gold and vanished into thin air? In 1988, Tommy Thompson discovered the SS Central America shipwreck, making him a hero of maritime archaeology. The ship contained millions in gold bars and coins from the Civil War era. But Thompson had other plans for his discovery. He built a web of fake companies and offshore accounts, stealing gold meant for the 161 investors who funded his expedition. Using his diving expertise, he hid the true amount of treasure recovered from the ocean floor. For years, he lived like a king on stolen Civil War gold while the FBI hunted him across multiple states. In 2012, just before his trial, Thompson disappeared with girlfriend Allison Antikyre and $50 million in gold. He became one of America's most wanted fugitives. 3 years later, agents found him hiding in a Florida hotel under a fake identity. But the gold, still missing. The largest treasure theft in maritime history remains unsolved. Did you know the most calculated Yakuza assassination in history started with a simple office visit? On May 26, 1985, Masahisa Takenaka, boss of the powerful Yamaguchi Gumi, walked into a Kyoto office building. He had no idea the rival Ichiwakai had spent months planning his death. They used traditional samurai honor codes mixed with modern surveillance techniques. For weeks, they tracked his every move, studying his routines like a military operation. The assassins positioned themselves throughout the building, each with specific roles. They chose weapons following strict Yakuza protocol, ensuring the kill would send a message. When Takenaka entered the elevator, they struck with ritual precision. Multiple gunshots echoed through the building as he collapsed. The execution was flawless, but it triggered the largest Yakuza war in post-war Japan. Police used forensic analysis and insider informants to unravel the complex hierarchy behind the hit. This single assassination changed organized crime legislation forever. It forced Yakuza groups to completely restructure their operations nationwide. Did you know the blueprint for every modern bank robbery was written during the Civil War by a Confederate guerrilla? On October 6, 1863, William Quantrill and his raiders approached the Baxter Springs Bank with military precision. Unlike common thieves, they used detailed reconnaissance, coordinated timing, and sophisticated escape routes through hostile territory. Quantrill's men applied Civil War tactics to criminal operations, coordinating multiple simultaneous robberies across Kansas towns. They developed communication systems between scattered outlaw bands, exploiting wartime chaos to perfect their techniques. Their most audacious heist terrorized an entire region with brutal efficiency that law enforcement had never seen. While maintaining their status as guerrilla fighters, they created the first systematic robbery methodology. Their innovations included synchronized attacks, military-style retreats, and intelligence networks that spanned hundreds of miles. When the war ended, former raiders like Jesse James took these methods into civilian life. Quantrill's template for organized bank robbery became the foundation that law enforcement struggled to combat for generations. One man's wartime tactics changed criminal history forever. Did you know a single bomb blast started the bloodiest organized crime war in Canadian history? On July 13, 1994, Hells Angels members detonated explosives at a Rock Machine clubhouse in Montreal. This wasn't just gang violence. It was the beginning of a sophisticated military operation. Both motorcycle clubs deployed remote-controlled car bombs, encrypted communications, and professional assassins to control Quebec's billion-dollar drug territory. The Hells Angels recruited their elite Nomads chapter as killers, while Rock Machine formed alliances with Colombian cartels. They corrupted police officers and judges, using counter-surveillance techniques that paralyzed law enforcement. Their coordinated multi-city attacks were executed with technical precision that rivaled military operations. But on August 9, 1995, everything changed. A car bomb accidentally killed 11-year-old Daniel Desrochers, an innocent bystander. Public outrage finally triggered massive police crackdowns. The aftermath was devastating. 162 dead, over 300 wounded. This war completely transformed Canadian organized crime legislation, creating specialized anti-biker units that dismantled both organizations and changed how authorities combat motorcycle gang violence worldwide. Did you know one man turned military coffins into the ultimate drug smuggling operation? In 1968, while American soldiers were dying in Vietnam, Frank Lucas saw an opportunity that would change everything. He realized he could bypass the Italian mafia completely by smuggling heroin directly from Southeast Asia. His method was chilling. He used the coffins of dead American soldiers as transport. Lucas recruited servicemen as couriers and built processing labs in Thailand. His product was called Blue Magic, 98% pure compared to the competition's 5 to 10%. He undercut every dealer in Harlem while maintaining perfect quality control. Lucas used family members as street dealers and corrupted police at every level. Money flowed through fake businesses, creating an empire worth $52 million annually. Then, in 1975, the largest coordinated DEA raid in history struck across 3 states. His empire crumbled overnight, but Lucas had one final card to play. He cooperated with federal agents, exposing 75 corrupt police officers. His testimony brought down the entire NYPD narcotics division. One man's greed exposed systematic corruption throughout law enforcement. Did you know a contract killer used chemistry and freezing techniques to confuse police for 30 years? In 1980, Richard Kuklinski received another assignment in New Jersey. But this wasn't just any hitman. He was a former chemist who turned murder into a precise science. For weeks, he would study his targets, learning their routines down to the minute. He never used the same weapon twice, rotating between guns, knives, and even crossbows. But his most chilling innovation was freezing corpses for months before dumping them. This threw off time of death estimates, making investigations nearly impossible. He developed custom poisons and carried cyanide in spray bottles like cologne. Over 200 victims disappeared without a trace. His most audacious kill happened in broad daylight with a crossbow, then the body vanished completely. The FBI finally caught him in 1988 using an undercover operation. During confession, even seasoned detectives were horrified by his cold precision. They called him the Iceman, for both his freezing methods and complete lack of emotion. Pure calculation turned murder into an art form. Did you know the largest bank heist in American history started with a shovel and 15 feet of dirt? March 24, 1972. A crew of sophisticated burglars began digging beneath United California Bank in Laguna Niguel. For months, they studied blueprints, timed security patrols, and used construction expertise to tunnel directly under the vault. Over one weekend, they executed their plan with military precision. Jackhammers, torches, and specialized safe-cracking tools helped them open 400 safety deposit boxes. $30 million in cash, jewelry, and securities disappeared into their hands. But then they discovered something unexpected. Many boxes contained mafia money and blackmail materials on celebrities and politicians. What started as a heist became a massive corruption scandal. The investigation that followed was chaos. Only $6 million was ever recovered. Multiple conspirators were never identified, and the stolen contents exposed organized crime links to Hollywood and Washington. This wasn't just a bank robbery. It was an accidental revelation of America's hidden corruption network. Did you know the biggest jewelry heist in British history was pulled off by a crew of pensioners? April 2nd, 2015, Good Friday. While London celebrated the holiday, 4 elderly men gathered at Hatton Garden Safe Deposit Building. Their average age was 63, but don't let that fool you. They came prepared with diamond-tipped industrial drills and hydraulic equipment, ready to breach a vault designed to be impenetrable. For 3 days straight, they worked in shifts, drilling through 20-inch reinforced concrete walls. They disabled multiple alarm systems and exploited the weekend security gap perfectly. One by one, they cracked open 73 safety deposit boxes, each containing decades of accumulated wealth from London's jewelry district. 14 million pounds in cash, gold, and precious stones disappeared into their bags. The technical precision was flawless. The planning was meticulous. But advanced surveillance analysis eventually caught up with them. The shocking truth? They became the oldest successful heist team in criminal history, proving that experience beats youth every time. Did you know a teenager once fooled the entire world by pretending to be a pilot, doctor, and lawyer? In 1962, 16-year-old Frank Abagnale Jr. discovered he could manipulate bank deposit slips to create instant cash. But that was just the beginning. He studied airline manuals to forge pilot credentials, flew over 1 million miles for free across 26 countries. Then he became a fake doctor in Georgia, a lawyer in Louisiana, all while perfecting his forgery techniques. Using IBM Selectric typewriters, he created flawless fake checks worth millions. FBI agent Carl Hanratty chased him across the globe, always one step behind. Frank stayed ahead through pure intelligence and meticulous planning. For 5 years, he was untouchable, the world's most wanted con artist. Until 1969 in France, when a former girlfriend tipped off police. The cat-and-mouse game was over. But here's the twist. Instead of rotting in prison, the FBI hired him. The master criminal became their greatest weapon against fraud. December 21st, 1975. A man calling himself Carlos the Jackal walked into OPEC headquarters in Vienna with 5 armed accomplices. What happened next became the most audacious terrorist operation of the decade. Ilich Ramirez Sanchez had spent months preparing, forged documents from multiple countries, weapons from international networks, and detailed surveillance. Within minutes, they had 60 hostages, including oil ministers from 11 countries. His demand was simple: $50 million and safe passage out of Austria. But this wasn't just about money. Carlos had orchestrated a complex, multi-country escape plan using chartered aircraft. For hours, he controlled global politics through calculated violence and psychological warfare. The world watched as he manipulated governments, staying one step ahead of international law enforcement. The climactic moment came during the hostage exchange. Carlos escaped to Algeria, vanishing into the shadows. For 20 years, he remained the world's most wanted terrorist, until 1994, when he was finally captured in Sudan after the largest international manhunt in history. His methods changed counter-terrorism forever. Did you know the Chicago outfit perfected the art of making people disappear in broad daylight? January 20th, 1983. Alan Dorfman, the outfit's insurance king, walked through a hotel parking lot after lunch. He controlled millions in pension funds and knew too many secrets. But federal investigators were closing in, and loose ends needed cutting. The hit team had studied his routine for weeks, noting every detail. They knew exactly when he'd be alone and vulnerable. 2 gunmen approached from behind, moving with calculated precision. 7 shots fired in seconds. Dorfman collapsed on the cold pavement. The killers vanished before anyone could react. No witnesses stepped forward. No one saw anything. This wasn't random violence, it was surgical elimination. The outfit had turned assassination into an art form. By the time police arrived, the shooters were already miles away. Dorfman's death sent a clear message: cooperate with the feds and pay the price.